Let's go to recession, shall we?
Yeah.
And some of the major titans of Wall Street are now saying recession. Now, I want to be clear. I don't like these people, Ray Dalio, Larry Fink, all these other folks. You still have to listen because Wall Street is an expectations game, right? It's a fugazi. It's all fake. And so whenever somebody who is a global market player says we're in a recession, it can actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's right.
So even if we don't like these people, we don't like what they represent, and we think they're responsible for a lot of bad that's happened in the country, it doesn't matter because when you control hundreds of billions of dollars literally at your disposal, not to mention, you know, basically an arm of overall U.S. soft power, of market activity, of deals, if you say that there's going to be a contraction and recession on CNBC, it will cause all your peers, also titans of industry, to do the same thing. So that's why we have to pay attention when these people speak. Let's take a listen. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, here's what he had to say.
The United States post-World War II was a global stabilizer. We are the global destabilizer.
Right.
Now, Larry, that's a very hard thing to say because I pride ourselves of being, bringing the leadership, bringing the conversations. Yes, I do believe we're probably starting, if not, we're in a recession. Yes, I think the market is still underestimating how high inflation can get. If you factor in all the tariffs,
right,
you factor in all these other issues, it's going to be quite additive. I mean, I read in a report that if you just take the tariffs in the cost of home building, the average new home could be up as much as 26%. We already have a housing affordability problem.
None of this sounds any good to me, Larry. And it's all self-inflicted, by the way. None of it needed to happen.
This is not a pandemic. This is not a financial crisis. This is something that we've created.
So you can see from his comments there, specifically about recession and about contraction, increase of goods, that this is, quote, if we are not in a recession, if you factor in all the tariffs, it's going to be quite additives. I do believe we are probably starting. So you could see from him. We also have Ray Dalio, the, quote, legendary investor. I'll tell you more about Dalio in a little bit. But you got to hand it to him. He actually wrote a decent enough book and is always worth listening to. Here's what he had to say.
I think that right now we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money, so we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing, and we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging the existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession.
Much worse than a recession.
Yep.
That's not what you want to hear for no reason.
And specifically what he's talking about is the dollar market. So like literally right as you and I are speaking, Ryan, there's been a huge decline in the dollar globally. People are fleeing the dollar, and the currency is now basically, the reason why it matters is that not only do we have an import shock in terms of tariffs, but now those imports priced in foreign currencies will be more expensive relatively. So there's been an overall slight increase in the currency exchange rate that is being added on top of the tariffs. At the same time, we have the bond market problem that is happening right now, increasing the amount of costs for borrowing from the United States of America and debt servicing. So bond market yield increases, dollar decreases, the overall imports here, you have a contractual environment. This is genuinely akin to like the 1970s and some sort of stagflation level crisis. The only thing that we are missing is high unemployment. And luckily we are not there yet, but we have all of the ingredients to create high unemployment if we do not back away and change this policy. I mean, look, let's also say this. Trump has the off-ramp anytime that he wants. He can be like, look, we're going to do bilateral negotiations and it's going to take a year, right? But this current idea is 90 days. The current 90-day hypothesis, I looked it up. The average bilateral negotiation between the United States and another country takes 1 to 5 years. 1 to 5 years for a bilateral trade negotiation. So the idea that you're going to do 70 different negotiations over a 90-day period, preposterous. We can't even do one with the UK, with our greatest allies.
Right.
It's been years and we still don't even have a freaking bilateral.
Neither of us make anything.
Yeah, and yeah, you're right. They don't even do anything. All they do is send us scotch. All right.
How hard is
yeah,
that?
it's not even difficult to figure out. All right, I'm joking. My good friends over there.
Yeah, calm down. Calm down.
Calm down. All right, we love you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's like, let's put up Charlie Gasparino, the next element here too, which is, and he's saying that what Saagar is saying is reflected in all of the conversations that Gasparino is having with investors and CEOs, that all of these factors are coming together to produce a recession. And my quibble with Saagar's point is, so you're saying that Trump could end this. Yes, he could, and there would be a nice spike, and we'll start to pick up the pieces again. There's already, and it's hard to maybe even explain this to people, there's already significant damage done. Businesses are, I'm sure there are, you can, if you run one of these businesses, let us know. Like, businesses are going under. Like, companies that run in this just-in-time cash flow fashion, which is basically any company under like Apple, those are struggling. And then the other question is, okay, Trump could make a decision here. How does China respond? Is Chairman Xi merciful? Because maybe Chairman Xi is like, you know what? We've got our boot on their neck right now. And we're actually liking the soybean deal that we're getting from Brazil right now.
And Argentina, yeah.
I saw Mike Rounds complaining in a Politico article this morning because they're getting absolutely wrecked. I think something like 28% of commodities exported out of South Dakota go to China. It's over $1 billion, more than $1 billion. Like, this is just one little state. So does China have to automatically, immediately be like, all right, it's cool. You guys had a bit of a temper tantrum. All's well. We're back. All the deals that we had before are back on. And that's on the fantasy kind of that Trump just immediately buckles on everything, because Trump just keeps coming back with, whoa, guys, I'm not done with this. Like, we've been getting ripped off for decades, and I'm going to do this. Like, Trump seems deeply committed to this bit, like all the way down. To me, you'd have to have Congress step in and be like, no, the president doesn't have the authority anymore to just move tariffs around.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
And that needs 2/3. That needs 2/3 because Trump is going to veto that.
Right.
Do you have any idea where the Dow would have to be for that to happen?
Yeah,
there's
I
a
think
place.
it would have to be.
There's a spot.
I'm thinking 70.
And 7% unemployment.
What do you think? 70%? 70% drop.
Yeah, maybe a 70. Yes.
I think 3/4 drop in the over.
3/4 drop.
Because even 50. 2009, we came back. It would have to be, I think 70%.
Or you lose 800,000 jobs in a month.
Right.
And you lose, 5,000.
Mass unemployment, 13% interest rate. Yeah, maybe.
And then Congress is like, okay, you know what? Actually, we're taking these toys away from you. You can't play with these matches.
Yeah, I mean, that is one fantasy I keep seeing people saying, oh my gosh.
But we do not want that fantasy to come true, because it means that we will have marched through
Well, I meant
the valley of
people
death.
have this fantasy that Congress is going to do something about it. No, they're not. Okay, the Republican Congress is currently trying to cut $1 trillion from the overall government spending. Meanwhile, also increasing the amount spent on the Pentagon, just so everybody understands. That's the stated goal. I'm not kidding. Trump said, let's cut $1 trillion. He said that.
Yeah.
All right, and the Republicans are currently. By the way, the only way to do that actually would be to reduce overall manufacturing tax credits. Just so you all know. So
also, our borrowing
really
costs.
Genius.
Our borrowing costs, like you said, are going through the roof because interest rates are going up.
Debt soaring.
30-year mortgage rates are at their highest levels, which is.
I think they're at like 70%. Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
So things are not good. And finally, B3, let's put this up there on the screen. This is very important, and this kind of gets to your point, Ryan. Quote, Trump tariffs on China will soon bring irreversible damage to many businesses. And the reason why is that, anybody who's ever run a business, can you really take a 90-day freeze to your books? No. I mean, the vast majority of people cannot survive that. Yeah, if you're Apple, sure. If you're Meta, and you have this business that spits off all this cash. That's not what most people do, especially smaller businesses, e-commerce businesses, and more. If you look at here, quote, canceled freight orders and abandoned freight from China are quickly becoming the norm, according to supply chain executives. Furniture producers in China have seen a, quote, complete halt in orders from U.S. importers. We are seeing the same across toys, apparel, footwear, sports equipment. We have had same across Southeast Asia. Now we may have some restart because of the 90-day pause. Almost everything is on hold as it relates to China's business. Basically, it will stop all trade between the United States and China. These are all people I'm quoting who are supply chain and logistics experts. I also, we had Ryan Peterson on the show, who I previously mentioned, and Ryan is just constantly flagging about how difficult it is for all of these people to do business, under these current economic conditions. And look, there are some who are able to take advantage with some decent enough cash that are on the books, but there are not enough people who are able to survive any of this and are just simply having to freeze everything. And we are seeing already the stories come out, across the board, e-commerce businesses, smaller people who produce things with a limited amount of cash, can't afford lots of inventory. They didn't do anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to kill their business overnight, I think the government should give you something for it, kind of like COVID, And look, you could disagree with lockdowns and all of that, and you're right. If we didn't do lockdowns, and I guess we wouldn't have had to do bailouts or any of that. But can we all agree that if we did lock you down, then the government, of course, owes you some remuneration? If they're going to explicitly tell you that, then of course you can't just kill somebody overnight. Whenever you're doing business and not just and just take it. But apparently that is the current state of where things are.
That's what a strategic approach to a trade war would look like. To say, okay,
which is what the Chinese are doing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be hard for 180 days.
Yeah.
And this is how we as a government are going to help our people weather this, because this is important for all of us and we're in this together. We're not getting that.
Yeah. Well,
they are.
Okay.
We're not.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, actually, I'm really curious to see. Let's say this lasts a year. We need to compare the material life of the American after 1 year and the average Chinese, and not just some guy in Shenzhen, like a normal middle-class Chinese person. And I would love to see how that actually goes. I mean, look, it's possible they're bluffing, right? It's technically possible. Yes, they have high amounts of state capacity. They still have 1 billion people. They have, they're addicted to 6 to 8% economic growth. They had the zero COVID nonsense, which really exposed the fragility of the overall Chinese system. For all the BYD talk and all of that, you still have a lot of people who are very concerned sociologically about mass unemployment.
There's worries that the AI,
AI bubble,
Yeah.
right? I mean, just generally, I would still rather be them than I would rather be us right now, at least in terms of how things are working out. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.